Where do repetitive processes quietly cost companies the most in time and money, morale? Where do they cost companies the most?
It's really just it's time, operational time and expense. At the end of the day, we're all living in the AI world right now, right? And so everybody, whether you're fixing sprinklers or AWS, you're talking about how AI can help you. And so those are the types of things.
You didn't start a business to put out fires, but here you are, holding the extinguisher. Business isn't theory, it's pressure, late nights, tight margins, the thing that keeps breaking no matter how many times you fix it. When the room's on fire, the amateurs shout, the pros stay calm. That's the Fixers and Founders way, part discipline, part rebellion. We walk into broken systems, find the pulse, and make it run clean. Because calm isn't weakness. Calm is a strategy. We're operators, builders, problem solvers, born from the grind, built for the builders. Join us now as we chat with fixers and founders just like you. Let's jump in.
Welcome to Fixers and Founders, where vision meets velocity. I'm Tony.
I'm Forrest.
If your company runs on email threads, shared drives, I swear I sent that, if growth feels slower than it should, but no one can quite explain why, today's guest matters. Cory Watson helps companies eliminate the quiet friction inside their systems, the repetitive, manual, behind-the-scenes processes that quietly erode speed and clarity. Because growth doesn't usually fail at the strategy level. It fails at the process level. If you want your operations to scale as clearly as your ambition, this conversation is for you. Let's get it done.
Let's go, Cory.
Amazing.
Excited to have a conversation with you.
I need to have that be my new LinkedIn bio because that's way better than my current LinkedIn bio. So that's fantastic. So I'll come and I'll re-listen to this and I'll update it.
We sell that for $39.95 per view. and there's not a decimal in there. There's a comma in there, by the way. So
Awesome.
And I've not seen 1 cent of it, so I don't know how Forrest got that structured, but I need to check my contract.
I'm getting it, man. So let's get started. Where do repetitive processes quietly cost companies the most in time and money, morale? Where do they cost companies the most?
It's really just it's time, operational time and expense. At the end of the day, we're all living in the AI world right now, right? And so everybody, whether you're fixing sprinklers or AWS, you're talking about how AI can help you. And so those are the types of things that the customers I work with are generally looking for as repetitive processes. What can I automate? What we call no touch processing? What are things that we don't have to necessarily triage? What are things that I need a human in the loop for? Things like that. So just trying to find those opportunities to better flow operational things, better flow things that have a cash value to them as well. So that way there's, like I said, less, exceptions, less human errors, things of that nature. So just ultimately, fixing operational deficiencies at the end of the day to help with the bottom line and increase productivity.
Yeah. Time is money, and
Took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah.
That was it.
Good one. Well, Cory, again, thanks for having you. Great to meet you today. What actually happens inside of a company when email becomes the operational backbone?
I mean, you're lost at the end of the day, right? And me personally, I'm bad at email. So if somebody wants me to be actionable about something, sending me an email is not the best way to do it. And every response I have, every out of office, call or text me. That makes me actionable. So if somebody is using email as a to-do list, that's, from a corporate standpoint, that's just setting yourself up for failure. You have customers that try to basically do like their document management through email and they're trying to find stuff. They can't find stuff because they can't remember where it came from. They don't remember who the subject is. They don't remember what the name of the file is, etc. Yeah. And so that's really we're constantly telling folks there's better ways, better avenues to essentially assert your capabilities by asking folks to do things in a different way, manage your tasks different way, manage your information different way, manage your ingestion of that data in different ways. But don't use email for anything other than email, right? At the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm working with a company right now, and they only use Teams for internal messaging. Email is only used for external messaging, and then within the
Interesting.
Teams, they store all their documents within Teams in shared folders, which is different than I've ever worked, but it's interestingly efficient.
I could see that.
So what separates meaningful automation from just layering on sexy tech on top of dysfunction? Because a lot of people are just, chasing the latest tech, but what's the difference?
Yeah, and that's a good question. So specifically, like my subject matter expertise, I would say, is around intelligent document processing and content management. And so just this morning, I had a conversation with a longtime customer we've been working with for about 20 years. They've got what was the latest and greatest technology, and now it's very inferior legacy, et cetera. Doesn't allow them to move to the cloud, doesn't allow them to extend to, cloud services, using, AI agents and things like that. So the meaningful automation is about two things that we really approach. One is, functionally, can you do a deep dive into who you are in terms of what you're trying to accomplish with whatever your business processes are? So it's not about just taking data in and storing the data and, and doing that, right? So checking off the box. So we have customers that want to throw technology at a problem that the technology can't solve, because the problem isn't the tech meaningful, right? The problem is you, the operations, the users, the business process, et cetera. So we try to do at least from my perspective, I try to do like a journey a little bit, and based on what their vision is, say, okay, well, you want to invest in the latest and greatest, like technology, whatever it is. We can say AI, we can say whatever it is. But are you going to end up in the same position, right? And so again, I think trying to get to the question is doing the discovery, doing a meaningful journey on where you want to be, and is your problem really that maybe you've invested in tech and you haven't actually implemented the right way? Are you are you looking to do something that your current tech stack can't do because you've done a really good job with it? Or is it simply that you just have a really bad process and that needs to be completely re-engineered? And so again, I don't know if that completely answers the question, but that's kind of where my mind frame is to help segment meaningful tech versus actually trying to utilize something just for the sake of utilizing it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that have developed tech in search of a problem. They've developed solutions in search of a problem when there wasn't the problem, or the issue
Right,
wasn't really
exactly.
the issue. So I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, and we've been getting into that classic theme of less is more, and I can't tell you how many times I've walked into a business and yeah, sure they've got a CRM. Have they ever used it? No. Have they ever implemented it? No. Does anybody use it with any meaningful intention? So again, then it's somewhat about like the shiny object syndrome. I think that's common with visionaries and founders too, right? It's just like you say earlier. Well, it's the latest and greatest. We must have to get it. It's like, well, you never even used what you had before, so what's this going to do for you?
Yeah, and they're not even looking at the actual implementers as well. It's like, yeah, we're company X, we're in the top 5% of our industry, but they don't even recognize that they actually don't know how to leverage the stuff they already have today, because they don't even have the people that have the skill set to do it. They can hide behind things. They can hide behind, LinkedIn or whatever their kind of their background is. But a lot of times, I would say that the fakers are found out when you actually try to implement something. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, actually, I don't know how to code. Actually, I don't know how to, create a multi, modal. See, I'm a faker too, right? So I'm trying to like say all these acronyms, right? But the point is, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it can, these things flush themselves out at some point or other, right? It's just like, eventually people scurry when they get scared or when they feel like they're threatened, that they're, well, I'm gonna go find another job. I'm not being challenged here, right? And then you recognize that person had no idea what they were doing, right? And so they did it long enough to collect a paycheck. Anyway, I feel like I get off topic sometimes, but
That's all right. I mean, I just think one of the smartest things you can probably ever say is, "I don't know."
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm
exactly,
gonna
yeah,
find out. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that is
and
exactly it. Yep.
so it goes in line maybe a little bit, and it flows into this next question for you, Corey. What is one discipline that smaller companies should adopt and embrace meaningfully before they even try to scale and get bigger?
I really think that they need to understand. So we deal with a lot of companies that are data starved. And I say that meaning that they don't even know what they have before they go out and start looking for something. And so again, that comes back to that journey. So what are the systems you have? What are the processes you have in place? What are you really trying to achieve with, whatever the system is, the process, the information, etc. And so a lot of times folks go, I've actually got everything I need. I just didn't recognize it. Or I have way too much and I need to scale back, or I don't have the right things at all. Right. But I think to me, whether you're small or large, it's always that journey from because I deal with content. Right. And so when I say content, it's everything from documents to data to scraping stuff from websites, putting it into basically this big salable and mixing it together and trying to find that stuff at any point in time. And so now you have AI that can maybe help you go find stuff by asking it questions, prompting you like, hey, I've got all these databases and these reference files and stuff like that. Go find me a contract from company XYZ, from 2000, 22, right? So it can do a better job finding that information. So we use kind of like that tactic to help folks understand, like, well, what do I actually have? And so if I can actually understand what I have, then I can start to apply whether I the technology I have in place, the processes I have in place, can I change those and adapt those to potentially leveraging, new tech, existing tech, or just ultimately just creating a more structured foundation to kind of how they run their business. And that's pretty variable and pretty broad, I think. So I don't know.
As you've been explaining, I've sort of narrowed it down mentally to just that other old adage, know thyself.
Yeah. Know thy data. Yeah.
Thank you. Right. Yeah. Thank you.
I'll be trademarking that later.
Already got tattooed right here, man. No,
That's
can't
right.
have
That's
it.
right. Right on the arm. Right on the arm. So, where do companies most often misjudge the complexity of implementation when they're dealing with data, trying to find the data and understand it? Where do you see that they often misjudge the complexity of it?
That's a very good question, Forrest. I've got a reference from about an hour ago. Where I had a customer who we just landed a project with, and they want us to migrate systems from on premise to cloud. And as we started going through everything, and we kind of knew high level what we were going to do, they said, "All right, we'd like to start next week, and we want to be done by the end of March." And I'm like, "Okay." I asked them a series of questions, and I said, "I can be done, but you can't even start what you need to do until the middle of April." And so they just assumed that all this stuff would magically happen. We're going to lift and shift everything from on premise to cloud, and the data is magically going to be there,
Hmm.
and it's going to be like a lift and shift. And so, again, I think just folks just don't recognize how complex things are sometimes, and so we have to, unfortunately, sometimes have to be the bearer of bad news, which can jeopardize contracts sometimes, but ultimately it sets themselves up to be more successful because, when you get to leadership's like, well, you said you're going to be done at the end of March. Why not? It's like, well, we actually, did a vision and we figured out that these are the things that are in place that we weren't taking advantage of before. Now we can leverage this up. Now we can make these changes, and it's going to set us up for a better outcome down the road with the additional projects we have, going on. Um, again, that's just a quick reference, that I just had, like I said, like an hour ago. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cory, like when one of these founders that you work with, they suspect that it's the process that's slowing them down, slowing their growth down, what is typically like the first red flag that you see in those organizations?
yeah, people.
Mm,
I mean, it's the people. It's the operations. Somebody controls their own little. They have domain control, and
yeah.
they don't want to give up control because it might expose
Mm.
maybe
Yes.
how small their kingdom is, and they may feel irrelevant, but they don't realize, like, hey, if I give up a little bit of control, it's actually might be a better thing for me. So yeah, it's
And
people.
what about the team, y'all? What about the team?
All goes back to those people. I'm telling you, and especially people that are scared of job security or whatever.
Hmm.
I always say business is easy, people are hard. As soon as you add the
Yeah.
first employee into the equation, it gets hard.
You're right.
Yeah, this might be maybe a bad analogy, but it's survival of the fittest in the animal kingdom, right? So if you put food on the ground and see who's going to get it first, and with my cats and dogs, I mean it is the survival of the fittest, right? So people they if they feel like they're threatened, right? You're threatening their livelihood.
Mhm.
They're not going to be honest and genuine with you. That's for sure. They're going to
Yeah.
fight and scrap.
Yeah. All right. Got a couple of wild card questions for you. If the
No,
first
man.
six weren't already wild for you. What's something you're irrationally picky about in your everyday life?
Go say your nose.
Oh my gosh. The- it's not like a physical thing. It's a situation. I am irrationally picky about expectations.
Okay.
And
can
I
relate.
get on my kids, my youngest son specifically about that. He has an expectation like in his head. I come home and it's like, all right, dad's home. He's probably has nothing to do. I want to go to the baseball field. There should be a baseball field open. Dad, let's go to the baseball field. I look and I said, well, everybody's practicing right now. And next thing you know, it's like like his whole world just sinks, right? So he gets that from me because I have expectations of like how things are going to go, whether like I'm helping out in the kitchen or dinner or bedtime, and my wife throws me a wild card, and I do not react as good as I wish I would. Yeah,
Yeah, kind of like when
unfortunately,
somebody stands you up for lunch. You had expectations to eat lunch.
look Forrest. I don't want to keep bringing that up, but yeah, exactly. Like,
Going on the list. He's going on the list. The you know what list.
I'm on the naughty
yeah,
list. Yeah.
yeah. Was that the kind of answer that you were expecting? I mean, I don't know how people answer that question.
That was
That's
good.
relatable.
I liked it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Hey, Cory, again, it's been great to meet you. Thanks for joining us today. Should anybody want to reach out to you, help with their business, talk about picking their nose or expecting too much, where can they find you?
I work at Image Access Corp. My emails is C Watson, first initial last name at Image Access Corp, all one word.com. That's how I tell everybody. So they can find me there. We love what we do. We're good at it. I've been doing this for a long time, and it's kind of not necessarily what gets me up in the morning, but it's what keeps me going during the day. So just always being honest and genuine with everybody I talk to. And at the end of the day, if you can have a conversation with somebody and help them, but you don't necessarily get their business, it's all good for me.
Good karma indeed. Though I will add, I suppose, if you want him to actually do anything, don't send the email because it won't get done, right?
Just send me a text, please. Just send me a text.
So before we jump off into the weekend here, Cory, what is one completely non-work skill that you have that people wouldn't expect?
Gosh. Man, I can draw.
Nice.
I used to be a decent artist. Now I'm like, okay, my daughter has completely like outshined me now, but yeah, I can draw. I don't do it as often, but it's fun.
How long you been doing that?
Something.
There you go.
What's that?
A portrait of Forrest. How long, Cory?
That was the thing I did as a kid. My career path was I was destined to be an architect. So I was always creative, constructive, drawing stuff, engineering mind. And so I ended up in software and consulting, which has a lot of that. But that's kind of where like the artistic stuff I think came from.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
You're still an architect. You're a data architect.
That's it, man. That's it.
There you go. Right on.
All right. That was Cory Watson reminding us that scale doesn't collapse dramatically. It slows quietly through friction. If your team feels busy but not efficient, there's usually a systems reason. Rewind this one if you're ready to smooth the engine. I'm Forrest.
I'm Tony.
And this was Fixers and Founders.
Oh, my darlings, look at you. Still here with me till the end. That's how I know you're one of us. The fixers, the founders, the ones who build in the chaos and still manage to laugh through it. Drop a comment, share your sparks, and connect with each other. This is where the net weaving begins. Like, share, and subscribe to keep the fire blowing. Until next time.